Today I'm going to be doing this month, July 2019's Patron Appreciation video. And this week it is, or this month I should say, is I kind of swapped between doing basic name triggers and something more creative. And this month, we're going to be doing NPC design. So we're going to be designing some NPCs for my upcoming Watch on the Windswept Shore campaign in the Elwynds. And I asked my patrons for give me a prompt, give me as much as you want. You can put your own name in it if you want to like insert yourself into the campaign that I'm actually going to be running. And yeah, so we got a fair few prompts here to get through. Some are just like really short, and others are a bit more complex and actually don't need that much fleshing out. And the fleshing out will be more, what is their overall, what is surrounding them. So first and foremost, we have Emmeline, a bartender with a majestic beard. Benevolent, black line character. This campaign is using the color pie as instead of the element chart. Is a coward and believes in planning ahead. Prefers to regret taking chances than not taking them. Could help the adventurers if the cost is low and the potential for entertainment is hot right. Likes a job well done. Would pay more good money if you find funny ways to make more wealthy people come to his establishment. Okay, so this is honestly a pretty good kind of thing. Yeah, he's a bartender. He's running his business. What? So the context, if you haven't watched my video talking about this campaign, essentially the short of this is that the party will be on the windswept shore, and they have been tasked with the defense of this, and it's all going to be, most of it will be taking place on the shore as they kind of develop a keep or something. So there's a few places the bartender could be. It could be down the road in Einswald, where which is the nearest town up the coast. It's kind of like a fishing town. It's also the base of operations of a couple of the noble houses that the players are going to be from. So it's probably their hometown, but that is still 4 days away by foot. So it's not really a nearby place, so that wouldn't really show up that much. And either I want these NPCs to be on site on the windswept shore, or otherwise would have reasons to communicate with the characters via letters. And a bartender doesn't really, this guy doesn't really seem like the type to really be yes, important correspondence to the Calganet's task force for defending this stretch of shoreline. That's just definitely what this bartender wants to do. So originally what all of us could have on the windswept shore was essentially be just a few encampments of refugees coming in from Polynastis. But it would make sense because it is on the it's the, I don't name it, it's the coastal road that goes up from that follows the entire western coast of Redhelm. And I guess what we could have is it would make sense on the windswept shore we had an inn, a traveler's inn, which could be interesting. So what if Emmeline was the proprietor of this traveler's inn on the windswept shore. Windswept shore. So that gives them something, because it's actually gives some context where it's okay, the players for the first few months won't just be camping out and being the first structures of the keep is made, but instead this would kind of force interactions at this inn, and probably good old Emmeline is probably not doing too great business just because it's like a lot of the foot traffic has been from Polynestis has mostly been just from the refugee crisis going on, and those people don't usually have like a lot of money to spend at a local tavern beyond like, hey, we need to stock up on like basic provisions. So I feel like that could be good there, and Emily like might be willing to like, hey, invest in this in exchange for some exclusive contracts with like the new keep being constructed and any forces that like any like people they bring in. So that could be like an interesting kind of like, here is like essentially the closest thing to a leader kind of in this area, just because there really isn't any form of government in this area, and his tavern could be like the only really place that people are. So it could be a good establishment for that. So, and also that kind of gives like a good set location for other NPCs to show up before the actual keep is done. And I guess another decision would be like how close to this place, because it's at a 5-mile stretch of coastline that the players are tasked with defending. That do they want to like put the keep like nearby this tavern? And you do need a good tavern name. Comment below in the description if you have a good tavern name for this place. Or some things. Do they want to put it nearby, or that's like, and like that could be like a decision where like Emily like be like, hey, you put this nearby because obviously that's good business for me. Like the guards you have stationed here will come in here after their shifts. It's just good business. It's good defense. And I'll pitch you some money, as opposed to maybe some more defensible locations and kind of like that risk reward there. So there could be that. Cause I'm thinking like things like this was a place before the Sea Elf crisis, before all that. So it's like a nice like, it's like right on the water, looking over some bluffs. It's like real kind of scenic, kind of nice, just like along the road there. But it's like maybe not the most protected area, maybe not the best. It was definitely chosen for the view and like just where it was good on the road there. And of course there might be like a couple farms in that area, like around the tavern that frequent there. So yeah, so that seems solid. That seems like a good basis for a character to work off of. And kind of like also will just kind of be a mainstay where it's like recurring, being like it's the person who's like running the local watering hole. And it's a lot of good things for interactions. Okay, so the next NPC we have is a bit more vague. We have this NPC is becoming more and more insane over time. They work as a local tax collector, and you can tell that they are entailed by their annoying whistling-ish noises. So thank you for making me have to learn how to whistle, because I can't whistle. It's like the best I can do is like and that's not me whispering for the video, that's as loud as I can go. So we have some sort of like tax collector going more and more insane. That could be interesting because it's like, it says local tax collector, but like, who is this for? Like, is this for the Calganit? For the Calganit? But the Calganit is like the party is the representatives of the Calganit. Like, they don't need to pay taxes. They're not paying taxes because they literally are the people that people pay taxes to. So it's probably some sort of like, it's one of the royal ones from Dayorn. Who's like, they don't normally come out here because there just wasn't enough to warrant the trip. Like, that could be kind of a tension to Emmeline, where it's like, as they build out this location, like, Emmeline's just like, no one bothered me with taxes before now, and now all of a sudden we kind of getting more commerce in here, and I'm having to like actually like pay my tithes to the crown, and that sucks. Why are they becoming more and more insane? honestly, I just feel like the road to here and back is just like not good, because it's like it's the old coastal road going up the side from like probably closest would be Einsvoll, but they might be coming all the way from Emmet, which is kind of under royal control now. But like walking along this coastal road, like that's a week round trip to Einsvoll, and that's just a week of exposed coastline, like right up against where there's been a lot of sea elf aggression. So like, even if they have not been waylaid by sea elves at all, having like make that trip regularly several like times, like once a month or so, if they're just like supposed to go out there, that's gotta take a toll on a person. And just kind of like over time just becoming more and more just like overly paranoid about all this. And that also has some really good interactions, because at least a couple of the characters so far, because we've done some character creation, have shown extreme prejudice against the crown and Dayorn. So that this is a direct representative of the crown, and that might have some interesting good thing there. It also might be it's maybe we don't actually want to go and collect taxes here, and that's kind of stressful, because we know we got a couple people who absolutely despise the crown and threaten to kick the crap out of me every time I go there. So, don't love this assignment. And I guess like the whistling could be kind of like as like a nervous tick, just being like, yes. I don't know. I'll workshop it. What would be a good name for this character? Like, like, I mean, they're probably Dayorn. Like, I think they are probably from like Dayorn proper. Like, cause it's like, oh yes, I'm a representative of the crown, so it's probably kind of like a, they might like have like, I'm thinking like a really bad title, but like they wear it anyway. It's like not super impressive, but they feel like they need to, because it's like in like the actual like place itself. Do that. They also refuse to speak in common Vorin. It's always just high Vorin, the very posh and prim and proper dialect. So I'm feeling like also what race? Well, the crown is currently under the control of what's the house that's in control of the crown? I know this. Lily, you know you're in lore. You know your lore. I believe in you. The Elm Coast is currently under control of It is currently under the control of I know which one it is. I think it's Reekton. It might be Reekton. Yeah, it's Reekton. I mean, House Erdwil. Or Tweed. Okay, so it's like, I'm thinking like maybe like an elf or a half elf would make sense. Just kind of like, do we want to make them part of House Erdwil? And I think I kind of do. I kind of like the idea of just like having it actually be part of House Erdwil. Just like someone who like got the low peg. And also like might be kind of like the shady tax collector like archetype, or being like, yeah, double type. One for the crown, one for House Erdwil. That's what you do. Don't tell me how the law's enforced. I know them, because I came from the Jewel, and you can't tell me what to do because you don't know the laws, because you haven't been to Jewel, and also you don't speak the legal language of High Vorin. Losers. So we have a House Erdwil. And like I feel like just not having a title, just being like of House Erdwil is fine. Like they're very firm about, like, yes, I am of House Erdwil. Don't you know who I am? You are minor Calgonnet houses. You don't know the real power of like one of the major houses of Vorin, do you? Like I guess I could do something simple, like something to like a nice like short like kind of like Reign of House Erdwil. Or like that. And like she's coming like being like, yes, I've come for the taxes, that's how I do it. And she comes like cold and like kind of very stern at first, and then just like slowly uses her nerve with each returning trip. And I like that. I like that a lot. Alright, next up we have Gabriel. So just put me in there as myself. Alright, Gabriel. You're cool. Also, thank you so much to all my Patreons who support me on Patreon or sub to me on Twitch. Either of those lets you get into these videos. It's also reduced recently. Now you only need to be at the $1 level to get into these videos. Link in the description, as always, if you want to be in future ones. And if you can't, still, thank you so much for just being part of this community. It's every little bit is amazing and I love it. So, thanks. Okay, Gabriel. So just put me in there as myself, I guess. With an eye patch. Maybe like a salty old town guard or retired knight errant or handyman or something. I'm trying to read the campaign stuff, but it's really 2 a.m. and school's in 5 hours. Full human, please. Alright, I gotcha. Okay, so like we don't really like have like a guard. Like there's no really reason for guards. Like I guess maybe like Emmeline might have like a guard posted, like maybe just like as like some muscle, because like in the recent ages, but he just kind of got you. I mean, alternatively, we could just like have like the most pitiful, like you're there as a guard of like the most pitiful, like yes, oh, good party. Don't worry, we already have some defenses set up. You just need to go there, evaluate the situation, like reinforced if necessary, be ready like to repel any attacks. And then all the players show up, and it's just old Gabriel there, in his like wooden shack that is supposed to be a watchtower, like the ruined remains of the watchtower that blew in a storm a decade ago, is there, and it's just kind of like, it's like, yes, these are some great defenses to start with. And it's kind of having Gabriel there as kind of like this, like, I don't know. I feel like the combination of like grizzled, like old, like older, like town's guard, like kind of like mixed with kind of like the like loner, like lighthouse keeper like motif. Actually, yeah, what if it wasn't like actually like an like a military tower, but it was just, there is just kind of like like the old lighthouse. That could be good, where it's like he's also technically part of the military, and because of that he's technically under the control of the crown, but they did kind of forget that he was stationed there. And like the lighthouse isn't great, it's also kind of been revamped into kind of like also being a guard post, but it's not really built for that. It's just to make sure that people know that you just gotta keep going that way to Ainsfold, that way to Ainsfold, otherwise you're just gonna hit rocks and there's nothing here. It's just stony bluffs with a few stretches of beach. It's not a good place to dock your ship. Go up to Ainsfold or all the way out to Emmett. Not here. And he's there, so he doesn't really get much attraction. He's just like, okay, let's keep like the like magical beacon that's keeping this going, and that could be good. Kind of like this like grizzled old like lighthouse keeper, and like probably like decently enough like a mile or two away from like the inn that Emmeline's running, where like obviously like he also stays there, but like he'll sometimes like take the walk out to the tavern, or to like pick up some more supplies or whatever, and like because it's like the military kind of forgot that he was stationed there, but like he makes do, and like maybe he's like good friends with like Emmeline, and Emmeline's like, don't worry, like sends out the provisions for the food every time, and he's pretty good, even though like he's not really collecting a paycheck anymore. But kind of like just kind of like the two friends, they see each other about like maybe like once a month or so when Gabriel needs to go like restock. Gabriel's got like an old like stubborn horse with like a six cart that he takes down the shore to go down there. It's like pretty cool. So we're gonna have just like a pretty cool. This is also nice because not only is like kind of fleshing out the region with NPCs, it's also kind of giving it like location, so it isn't just like here's this stretch of coastline, but like you're actually like set like points that can like become plot relevant. Like it's like, oh no, there's an attack like 2 miles to the south. Isn't as evocative as, oh no, the sea elves are attacking the old lighthouse. Someone has to go and save Gabriel from certain doom. And stuff like that, where it adds kind of like, people kind of up and down the coast, even though it isn't super well populated. Like, considering it's probably gonna be like this tavern, the player's place themselves, the old lighthouse, and there are 2 refugee encampments. One is like a bit more temporary, which has people coming and going constantly, and the other one is kind of like a little bit further inland, that towards the north, where they have kind of like just set up, like plop down and like are trying to get some farms going, and maybe there's a few farms around like the tavern, and yeah, so we have that. And like a day to the north there is a dwarven settlement that is under the dominion of Feldamar and not under Redhelm, but there is that potential there that you can go up to like, hey dwarves of Feldamar, we need stone, and you dwarves can get us a nice hookup. Yeah. So next suggestion we have is actually, it's kind of good for kind of like populate. I'm thinking like it's a whole bunch of small suggestions, and I feel like this could be really good to like populate this tavern, where like who are the regulars, and like what are they doing that like makes them kind of regulars. So the first one we have is a bard who cannot sing or play at all, but no one has the heart to tell him because he's so nice. And I think this works really well with like he just kind of like is like kind of like runs the tavern with Emmeline, and it's like Emmeline's friends with him, and he's actually like not, yeah, he's awful, but like he gets the job done. Like maybe like he's like a family out at one of the farms, and they like provide for the food, and like that's a good connection. Ooh, how about this? The bard, I'll just put a placeholder name. I'll come up with an actual name. We'll call him Joe. I'm terrible with actual names, and I'm usually mull over the names for a while, but the concepts are what's important. So like, Joe is like the son of like the farmer across the way, and like Emily kind of relies on that the farmer across the way to like for like basic provisions and stuff, like the eggs for the breakfast and like some stuff like that. And just like, but Joe really wants to be a great musician and bard, and really he needs some experience. Will be accepted at the Bard's College at Qualshold. So he's like, let's just get that for like his application, being like, yeah, I was the local like musician for this tavern on the Windswept Shore for a number of years, but at the same time he can't really play. He is still kind of like a teenager, and so it's like a lot of like original compositions of like angsty teenage poetry and stuff, but no one really wants to hear it. But he's a sweet kid, and Emily keeps around because he does want to keep on good relations with old farmer Joe Senior. Yeah, so that could be good. Kind of like this like common face, but I mean, Emily also puts him to work, like kind of like hair, bust the tables, keep everyone happy, you know, as you do. Okay, a paladin who no longer believes in his deity, but has to praise him to get his powers. Okay, this one might be kind of hard because of the way that the gods exist in this campaign. Essentially, paladins only worship one of two gods in this campaign, for the most part. You could see one with Elim or Oravna, but for the most part, they follow either Ain, god of the sun, or Nera, god of order. And I feel like the paladin who no longer believes in their deity, but has to praise them to get powers, I feel it would be almost better for Ain, because part of what's going on with like the overall cooling of the world is that people have like lost a lot of trust in Ain. Ain is the lord of the sky, the god of the sun, and the world is getting very cold. And guess what? Whose fault is that? It's probably Ain, and all the gods except Kel have been super distant and like haven't spoken to mortal kind in thousands of years. So like, I could say like a paladin of like Ain, who's like kind of like a bit like maybe not like full on like no longer believes in his deity, but like has like serious doubts as to the actual like goodness of Ain, and kind of like he's having that kind of crisis of conscience. But I feel like it'd be almost better like if not just like just doesn't get powers anymore. Just kind of like, yep, they're gone. I used to be a paladin, and I can still have a good sword and stuff, but like, he just kind of is there at the inn. Like, he has like a fair bit of money, because he did have like a bit of adventuring, and he's kind of set for the rest of his life, but like, he's just kind of like wasting his way like on the shore here, like kind of hoping that like some amount of action will happen with like the sea elves, that like if nothing else he can like die a noble death, even though he's like kind of like he was like removed from the military because of like this crisis of face, and like your role no longer does, and he didn't really want to become like a grunt militia soldier. And yeah, so he's just kind of like there, like super disheartened. At the end of the day, he's just a guy with, like, he's a decent fighter, but just kind of like lots of doubts as to the goodness of his like once formal deity. And I feel like it could be like kind of like a good like story, but in the meantime, he is usually found in the tavern, usually just nursing, like not like a drunk, but like he's just nursing a drink and like musing happier days. And I feel it'd be better if like that is one of the longer lived species, like if he is like an elf, where like he remembers, he's old enough to remember before the first wind, and when the winds happen as the overall cold, it's like, because like before then it's like, yes, Ain, good, bringing good bountiful harvests, and it's like, oh shit, all of those good bountiful harvests have stopped. What's going on? Oh look, it's no answer because you're super silent, and now your departure appears to have doomed us all. Thanks, sun god. Yeah. It's like changing the name slightly, but like more into like an ex-paladin. We gotta get like our full like cast of characters for like the fantasy version of Piano Man. Oh fuck, I really do need to rewrite the fantasy version of Piano Man for this, don't I? Yeah, I do. Yeah, that's essentially what we're doing at this point. But okay, so the next one we have a barbarian who's really good at cooking. Like, in his famous villages for his stews and wins competitions, and uses a pan for his warhammer. Yeah. Okay, so just essentially like a barbarian that's also very good at cooking. You know, like not so much like talking about like the actual combat side of things, but like I feel like kind of like someone who came in like definitely kind of like very much like a foreigner, like coming in from like one of like the bands in the north, just like some just like one of the ragged humans that were like wasn't really in like the northern like unincorporated reaches north of Polynastis, that like was forced to move south, but like he was one of the first refugees, and he just kept going south before like the refugee crisis really reached Redhelm, and he just kind of made a living for himself, like just kind of like he ran into this tavern on the way and took a liking to Emmeline, and Emmeline knows a good cook when they see him, and yeah, just kind of like works the kitchen. And honestly, a tavern can't run with just one person, probably. And that gives us like 3 like main tavern staffs between Emmeline, this like barbarian, and the bard. And I feel like that's like a good like number to be at. A character who cannot lie just because they're naive and too nice. Okay, that's not a lot to go on. I'll come back to that one. A character with a ridiculously silly name that is tired of not being taken seriously, that they're basically dead inside. So like I think for the rest of like the regulars tavern, like what are they doing in the area? Like we could have one of the other farmers. Like just like some really dumb name, like yeah. Oh, I'm trying to think of a dumb name. And of course, that I'm on camera trying to think of a really dumb name, I just can't think of it. Okay, for the time being, this is Farmer. Yeah, my parents were not the smartest type, they just named me Farmer. Yep. That's my name. That's my actual name. What do I do? Yes, it's farming. It's been my family's profession for generations. No, I don't like it. No, it's just Farmer. What's my last name? We don't have a last name. We're farmers. So you could say that I'm also Farmer the Farmer. Yeah, no. Oh yeah, my sister, yeah, she got a fine name. Salidra. Like, that name is great, but no. They listen. Oh look, we have one child with good name. What's this other one gonna be? Well, he's gotta get the farm. Let's name him Farmer. And it's like, no. Thanks, Dad. I didn't need that. Alright. Yeah, I'm kind of just like, he's just like this farmer who's like really not happy with the rest of his family. And like, I think it's almost funnier like if his actual family is like still around, and like it's just like he hasn't actually inherited the farm yet. He just comes over to like hang out, like hey, maybe he is like kind of like friends of like the bard or something like that. But it's just kind of like these like 2 to 3 farms that like are nearby that are just like, yeah, that just send over all their kids and stuff. That could work well. So the character that cannot lie, so like who else would be nearby that isn't just like another farmer? Because like we got the refugees, but like I said, like I guess we could get like maybe, okay, what if farmer actually like was like one of like the people from one of the refugee camps, like the one at the north that's actually settled down. And it was like supposed to be this like super inspirational, being like, we are making a life here. Here is my child. I am naming him Farmer because that is what we're going to do. We're going to make a life here. We will grow here. And now that he's like kind of grown up, he's just like, really? I get the sentimental message, but really? Farmer. That's what you name me. I feel like it could be like an entire family of just like kind of really like cliche names that like the parents think are like really inspirational, great, but just like all of the kids are just like, we have like, it's like, okay, so we have Farmer, we have his sister Growth, we have Bloom, and like all like these like very much like things like very nature. It's like especially like in relation to like food. Here's my brother Potato. It's like it's supposed to be this inspiration thing, but there's just like, we get what you were doing, but that was a dumb idea, and now we're stuck with that. Ooh, that could like, yeah, that could be like a whole like motif of like that camp. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. And like that one doesn't necessarily have to be like a regular at the tavern at that point. Like they could just be like, it's nearby. We don't need them to be regulars and whatnot. But overall, like I feel like this is about where I'm gonna wrap up. That's like all we got. But I feel like this is a really good basis for getting kind of like fleshing out this area, because it's like you don't need to know every single NPC that's gonna come up. Like I'm decent like just coming up with them on the fly, but like having like a few key ones, like especially key community members and like key members and aspects for like all the major locations is gonna be really nice to kind of like flesh out and have going. So yeah, no. Well, once again, thank you so much to all my patrons, and it helps a lot, and thank you for everyone who watches these videos. You really make it all worthwhile, and I really love doing this. And I mean, I couldn't have built this amazing community without you, because you consist of the community. I mean, the other way around, the community consists of you. Yeah, that's how it works. But yeah, let me know if you have any ideas for like the rest of like the regulars at the tavern. I've got to fill out a full Piano Man song, but like fancy. And also I probably will not be writing that because I have nothing to do with it, because I cannot sing or do anything musical. So I hope you all enjoyed this, and I hope you all have a wonderful night. And as always, may your stories smile upon you.